Hello everybody, this is Deepak Sharma again and in today's lecture I am posting this video, which is the part 2 video of the home practice exercise that we have looked back in part 1. This is the home practice exercise number 5, which focused on the general ledger, bank, sales, tax and the accounts payable. So the first video I explained you guys about the exercise that I'm asking you guys to complete. So now what I'm doing in part 2 of this video is where I'm going through the GL setup of this company. So you guys should have the handout for this exercise by now, and there's two ways you can start this exercise. One is by using the software that you have installed on your computer. So if you have the software installed on your computer, you can create a database dump every time you complete each part. So the part 1 of this exercise is setting up the general ledger, chart up accounts, and getting it ready. And then part 2, we're going to focus on the sales tax and the bank module. And then part 3, we're going to talk about the accounts payable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the option number 1, which is using the online platform, which is the Humber online platform that they're using. Where they give you a set of applications which are listed right here, and we're going to use Sage 300. So if you are a Humber student, this is actually something that you have access on. If you don't have it, then you do definitely need a software on your computer to work on this exercise. So in this case, when you're using this Humber platform, you don't need all these databases that you have available, they are all empty. And this company is also a brand new company. We just opened in December and it started business in 2020 in January. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this company AP DAT, and we're going to select the session date as 0101 2020, and we can activate the administrative services. Fiscal year 2020, and here we can copy the name of the company, which is Quick Meals Bar and Grill. Quick Meals Bar and Grill Limited. Okay, you can put whatever number as a tax code, nothing that we need to worry about. Contact name, I'll suggest you put your name so that way you can identify what it is. Under the option, we have to select the currency, which is the Canadian currency. We press OK, and it will take us to the company's common service and MP service module. And the next thing that I want you guys to do is I want you to create a monthly reminder. So we're going to come here under the scheduling, and we're going to create a monthly schedule. Okay, you have done this before, so I don't have to explain you guys what you need to do. So this is a monthly that reminds on every 3rd of the month, and we're going to put that reminder last day of the month, so on the last day of the month. Okay, and we want it for all the users actually, and how many days in advance we want that to go every it will remind you every 3 days in advance before its due date. So we're going to start from the January 31st. We'll add number of period must be greater than, okay, once a month, add, and then close. So now you set up the reminder. Now what we're going to do is we have everything ready. Now before I get started, I wanted to check the fiscal year. So what is my current fiscal? It's not active because we don't have the general ledger module yet. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to activate the general ledger module. Alright, so this is activated. And now what we're going to do is, once the general ledger module activated is right here, now we're going to go into the GL setup, we're gonna do the different setups that I'm asking you guys to do. The first one I want you guys to do is focus on the general ledger options. So we're gonna look at the options, and here you can, your name is already there. You're gonna come to the account. We're gonna come back with the closing account later, but you do need to set up the closing account for sure. And then you come to the posting. See, we are in 2019 fiscal year right now. Here we're gonna keep that to 7 years. And default source code we will set up as a general ledger, journal entries. Okay, now comes to segment. This is an important part. You are in this company, you have two different departments, so you wanted to allocate the cost between both the departments, so you wanted to create two different account sets. You definitely need one for sure, which is accounts, and that's 4-digit. And then the second one is optional. If you wanted to have set up the chart of accounts where you want to separate the cost between different departments, you can create different kinds of segments. So here we're going to create another one which is departments, and that what we're going to use is the company has two different departments. One is a takeout and another one is dining, and you wanted to see the profitability on both of them, so you wanted to create them two separate departments. So you create a second segment code that will be defined as departments, and that will be 3 digits. Once that part is done, you have to mention which is your accounts. The first one is our account number, so we say this is the number 1 is your account number. Save, and we don't have the structure code yet, so we can't select anything yet, so closing. Okay, once this is done, the next thing I want you to do is define those departments. We have two different departments, we need to define them. So here we're gonna go under the segment codes. We need to define them, and we're going to say 001 represent takeout, and 002 represent dining. Save. Once the departments are created, I want you to create two different account sets. One just the account numbers, another one is the account numbers with the departments. That's under the account structure. So here we want to do is ACC for only accounts, and that should have only accounts, and add. Then we're going to do DP, which is department accounts. Okay, and for this one I want the account number first, then I want the department numbers. Add and close. So you have account structure created. In the next one, I want you to create 3 different source codes. So source codes are right here. Source codes are the most easiest one. GLCR for cash receipts. We're not going to use this here because we are actually going to use the individual modules to record all the entries. So I'm just doing it just for practice. And then we're going to do for GL cash disbursement, and then we're going to do one more is BC bank charges. Usually in a real life, what happened is when you are recording transaction, you do the least entries in the journal ledger. Most of the entries are done in the appropriate modules, and that's exactly what I'm going to try to do with these exercise. We're only going to use the journal ledger to do the adjustment entries. Anything entries that doesn't go in the accounts payable or the account receivable department, we record them in the journal ledger. Okay, so for now I'm just creating those just in case if we need it. Okay, so once that part is done, your GL setup is done. What we need to do now is we need to create the chart of accounts. So you guys are given in your exercise at the very end in the appendix 1, you guys are given the list of the trial balance, and from there you need to create the accounts. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about it. You guys can watch the screen, so it will give me a little break to talk as well, but I will create all the accounts that are given. And to create the accounts, I'm sure you guys are master in that now because you have done it so many times. You come in, and I'll just talk about it for the first couple of accounts, and after that I'm simply going to create all of them in front of you, and you can just watch it while I'm doing it. First one is an account, is a general bank account. So you put the account number, which has to be 4-digit for the account numbers, and we're gonna do this for general bank account. Now this is a 4-digit, this is just a bank account, so I will select the structure code as ACC. The normal balance is debit. This is my balance sheet account, and the account group it belongs to is a cash, active, and nothing here, add. So that's how you will create all the accounts, and now I'm going to start creating all of them. 1200. I made a mistake in the previous account. I'm supposed to be other tax liabilities, or I don't have HST, so I had to put that as a other current liabilities. So I have to go back into 2600 and make that account as a other current liability as well. So I'm done. So that, next one I'm going to do is capital. And then I want to do is routine earning. Okay, now I'm coming into the revenue and expenses. So now the revenue and expenses, we have to separate it between the departments as well. So the first account I have is a revenue account for takeout. So revenue account is 4,000, and it is 001 because that's the department one for takeout. So revenue takeout credit income statement, answer revenue. And now I have to change the structure code, because this is not ACC, because ACC should only be a 4-digit, right? And DPT is 4-digit and 3-digit. See, now it will accept it. Now I'm going to do the same one for 4,200. That will be revenue for dining. Everything else remains same. Now I'm going to do the cost of sales and do 5,000, 01, I would say cost of sales, take out, it's a debit, is my cost of sales. And 2 for dining, add. Then comes to the other expenses. We have wages, so may wages account as 200, 100, wages, take out, that is not my purchases, I will put that as a other expenses or fixed expense, it doesn't matter. I put, say it doesn't exist because the 100 is not there in your department list, right? So it has to be 002. Okay, then I'll do 002 for wages, dining, and then I'm going to do the bank charges. Now there is only one bank charge account because you're only maintaining a one bank account, so I will simply make that account as 5300 because there's no breakdown between the types, so I'll just put 5300. So now if I do this, it's not gonna set that because the account number has to be just an account. Okay, so it's supposed to be ACC, has to put as a other expense. Then I have office expenses as a takeout. I'm gonna make this 4400 001. I'll call this office expenses takeout. So again, this has to be department because that has a departmental account. 002, and I'll make that 002 as a dining. Okay, so now we're done with creating all the accounts that are given in your appendix. Now I'm going to go back to your exercise where we left. So that was step number 11, where you create the trial balance. You create the chart of accounts. And then now number 12, what I'm asking you is that you're going to rent a place, and that rent has to be shared between both the departments, 30% for a takeout and for 70% for the dining. Okay, so I'm asking you to create the appropriate accounts. So this tells you that I have to create the auto allocation accounts. Okay, so to create that, what I have to do is first I have to create a general account, which is rent expenses. Is the account number here. So the account number that I'm going to assign for rent is, so I'm just going to see the range. I have created up to 4400, so I'm going to do is 5500 001, and I want to call this as rent for takeout, and the structure code is department, balance is debit, and this is other expenses or fixed expenses, whatever you want to see, as long as it's an expense. So what I'll do is I'll put it as a fixed charges because I know this is a fixed amount, and then I'm going to do 002 for rent, dining, and done. Then I have to do one more, which is the actually your allocation account, which is 5500, and that's simply a rent, and I'm going to make this a auto allocation account. As soon as I click on allocation, it shows up the allocation, and I see if I have the allocation allocation is here. Here I have to pick up the accounts 4500 001, and I'll say this one goes 30%, 5500 002 goes as a 70%, and I'll add that. Oops, it does add to 70%. Doesn't match the format. Okay, so it doesn't match the format, right? Because this is DPT, and DPT requires the 3-digit at the end, which was incorrect. this has to be the account number. I click add, and now this is fixed. So as I'm going through this, I actually find out the other expenses. If I made them all debit, they are all debit. And revenue is credit. Perfect. So that means that all the accounts make sense. So I have all the accounts created, and now the next step, you guys were supposed to create an opening entry, but in this case, if you look at the trial balance, your account balance is at 0. There is no need to do the opening entry here. Now before we close, we want to make sure we printed the chart of account. So what we are going to do is we're going to go into GL reports, and I'm going to make the print destination to preview, so that way you guys can see the report before it gets PDF'd. So I'm going to print the chart of accounts. I'll do a long form. Okay, so now this is the account. There are 22 accounts, and you can double check the balance sheet debits, balance sheet credits, accumulation, credit, this is debit, that's fine, credit, and that's all of them are debit. Okay, so it all makes sense, and if you want, you can export this into a PDF, and I will save it on the file under the this PC download. Let's just put it in the temporary file, and I'll call this a chart of account, and I'm done. I can close this and close this, and I can quickly go into my files and look at the temporary files and see this is sitting there. And now when I click it, it knows that now this file is being saved into your downloads. Okay, so if you look at it, show it in the folder, and you'll see that this is in your PC under the download. Okay, so I like to do this so that way any by mistake, if I'm able to cross everything, I can simply retrieve whatever I have done so far. So once the chart of accounts are done, the next thing that you want to do is create a new fiscal year before you start recording the other transaction, because remember, you are still in 2019 fiscal year. Now what you want to do is you want to create a new fiscal year. So now one thing I have to remind you guys, I didn't have it in your notes, that if you try to close the fiscal year, I'm going to show it to you guys. So now you guys, then you should understand what is the importance of setting up the closing account. So if I tell the system, let's see if it gives me the error, because in this company I don't have any balances. I totally forgot where was the closing. Create new year, right here under periodic processing, create new year. Now I'm hoping that this will give me an error because I don't have the default closing account set yet. Okay, so if I click on process, you must assign a default retained earning account in the general ledger options before you proceed. So you're gonna close it. Now before you create a new fiscal year, what you need to do is you need to go to GL accounts, not account GL setups, options, and under the accounts, we're gonna change this account to not change. You're gonna select this account as a retained earning account, save it, and close. Now once you finish, what we're going to do is we're going to go into GL periodic processing, create a new fiscal year. So here we're telling the system to create a new fiscal year 2020, so that way we can start recording the transaction. We click process. Once that is done, it shows you that 2020 has been created and no information has been removed, and you close it. Okay, so this is setup of the GL module. So now once you finish this, you are done up to step exercise number 15, and that was exercise 1 to 15 was all about setting the general ledger, and this will be the end of your first the second video, that is setting up the general ledger. And the only thing from here is what you need to do is a report that we did. So if I look at my downloads, so I'm going to show you guys this chart of accounts which we printed. So this is a chart of accounts, and this is how your chart of accounts should look like as well. and I will post this solution online. If you are in my class, I'll post it on the Blackboard. If you're not in my class, you may be able to see it on this video, and then you can pause it and compare your answers with this. Okay, and this will be the end of the video number 2 for the home practice exercise 5. Okay, and then I'll see you guys in the next video, which is the home practice exercise number 5 part 3 video. Thank you everybody for listening, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.